Hello, everybody. This is Zach Said It Again. I'm your host, Zach Cooley, and I have a very special guest today, my longtime friend and former aide, Miss Janet Martin. Thank you so much for being with me today, Janet.
Oh, you're welcome, Zach. It's my pleasure.
Oh, it's so nice to have you. We have so many good memories, but we have one very special one that we've shared together, and that's what we're going to talk about today. When we saw live the Queen of Rock and Roll, Miss Tina Turner, in her prime, and that was on June 20th. That was your birthday. Happy birthday,
Yes.
by the way. When
Thank you.
when this comes out, it'll come out on June 21st. So happy birthday to you. And we went that day to see Miss Tina Turner live in Charlotte, and that to this day is one of the greatest experiences of my life. What do you recall specifically from that evening?
I was so nervous about Charlotte's traffic.
Really?
I was just thankful we got to where we needed to be and found our seats.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't recall you were that nervous at all. It didn't seem like you had any trouble.
Well, if my son Daniel hadn't been with us, it would have been a whole different thing. But
Right.
Thank God he got to go with us. So.
Yeah. And because he got to go with us, he had a date that was supposed to go, and she ended up not going for whatever reason, and we wound up with an extra ticket. And that, to this day, people have said to me, I cannot believe you had an extra ticket to a Tina Turner concert. and nobody used it, but I think it happened last minute, and we tried to get a couple of people to go at the last minute and couldn't get them to do, but people could not believe. My wife can't get over it to this day. If I had only known you then, I can't believe you had an extra ticket. Because when I heard that she passed on May 24th, my first thought was, I am so lucky that I got to see her. And I'm so sorry for anybody else that didn't get to see her.
Yeah.
Because the energy, I mean, when I've been very fortunate that my career as a columnist, a lot of it has revolved around live entertainment. And I'm very fortunate that I've gotten to see a lot of great people live.
Yes, you have.
But if you like live entertainment and you thrive off of that, you're looking for that electrifying performance that is life-changing, and that doesn't happen very often. But for Tina Turner to be my very first one, she set the bar. And I mean, with the energy that she had, I mean, it really. It sounds cliche to say, but it was life-changing to see something like that on the stage. And when I say Tina Turner in her prime, we're talking about a woman that's 57 years old at the time.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do the dancing and the singing at the same time.
Right. Right.
Amazing.
And you had seen Tina before in the 70s, right? I think
Yes, in Salem. I think they just had a flood down there. And, yeah, we were way up in the stands and could look right down on her. It was amazing.
Was she by herself at that time?
Oh, no, she had her band with her.
No, I mean, this was after Ike, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, I was more interested in the saxophone player, but that's enough.
Oh, yeah. I remember that very well. I remember that very well. His name is Timmy Capello, and and boy, as soon as he come on that stage, I remember that very well. Yes, and I remember you saying, "Tell your mama that he is V-shaped all the way down." Yeah.
Yeah, it was very nice to look at.
Compared to when you saw her, I think because she played on the private dancer tour, she played in Roanoke in about '85. Would that have been when you saw her, or was it?
No, it had to have been in the 70s.
It was in the late '70s. Okay. Well, compared to that concert and the concert we saw, was one better than the other, or were they all both about the same? Or
I think the one we saw was the better one.
Yeah, I can't imagine anything being better than that. I mean, it was it was at least 2.5 hours, and I mean, she just kept on.
Daniel mentioned that he stopped. Tina had walked right by you before she went on stage without her wig on. Did you notice that?
No. I would have noticed that. What it was that I think he is recalling is Cyndi Lauper opened for her, and she came out and shook hands with us.
Yeah. I had gone to the ladies' room. And I missed that. So.
Yeah, you weren't there, but Daniel and I were there, and she was about 8 months pregnant.
Oh, yes, she was. And danced all over that place. I was afraid she'd have her baby.
Yeah. I mean, she was 8 months pregnant. She was in high heels. Her hair was almost as tall as she was, pink and purple. And she come out through there, and I remember she shook my hand, and my hand was drenched in her perfume. But she was a star in her own right, and that was a real thrill. Whenever I see Cyndi on TV, I think of that. Hey, I got to meet her because she came right where we were, and we weren't in the front. We were on the risers above the floor seats, but which was a really kind thing for her to do. If Tina had done that, I'm not sure I would have recovered. But
well, I had a hard time keeping you in your chair when Tina was on.
Yeah,
you were coming out of that chair.
I remember that. Yep. And I remember there was a ramp to the side of us that went all the way to the stage. And this was the day. This was before the days of power chairs, people, when I could just zip right up. You know.
That's right.
In those days, it was all manual, and you know, people don't think of people being in a wheelchair before power wheelchairs, but this is all manual and put together. And I thought, I wonder how far I could get up that ramp before they turned me around. I remember thinking that, and but it was just unforgettable. And because it was your birthday, my mother said, well, she's kind enough to want to take you down there. We're gonna buy her a ticket for her birthday. So thanks to you and her, I have that wonderful memory. So I will always be grateful to you for that.
Oh well, I'm glad we got to go.
Yes, it was. We will always. Now that she's gone, it's like we had this forever. I mean, we would have had the bond anyway, but we have this forever bond because of Tina Turner. I'm sure that I don't hear Tina on the radio that I don't think of you, and I'm sure that it's the same for for you
Oh
when you were
yeah.
a teen.
Oh
Yeah, that memory is really special. You're the only aide I ever had, by the way, who stuck with me for 3 years. I don't know if that's a testament to your strength or just
yeah. A little of both, maybe.
yeah, a testament to your strength or just that you didn't have good sense. I'm not sure which one it was, but I'm grateful that you stuck with me as long as you did because we had and have a great rapport and have always gotten along very well.
Well, we both like to talk.
Yep. Yeah, that's
a good thing.
That was the main thing. Yeah, as you put it at one point, we had to smack each other to get a word in.
That's right.
And
But
I think more than anything, more than even the talking, is we did a lot of laughing.
Oh my gosh, I know. You get me so tickled I couldn't even do anything with you. There we were.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
In the hallway just laughing.
Yeah, and people be looking at us, but they didn't say anything because they knew us. They'd just go on by and look us good. But
yeah, when I think of you, I think of Miss Matt.
Yes, I was just getting ready to mention her because I met you in August of 1996 when I started the 6th grade, and my teacher was the wonderful, precious Mildred Matz. So,
yes, she was.
So we have to give a shout out to her. She was and is still a precious woman, and love her dearly to this day. Loved her husband Richard, who passed on several years ago. But met him at Christmas party and loved him dearly.
Oh, sure.
From that day on. Do you remember him? Do you remember
Barely.
Richard?
Barely.
He was. I mean, they were just this adorable couple. You know, they were both of them were just precious. He died. Just like 1 month shy of their 50th wedding anniversary, and I felt so bad for her.
Oh, I'm sure.
I remember reading in the paper when he died, it said his wife of 49 years and 11 months, and I'm like, come on, God, really? Couldn't you just let him hang in there just another month so they would have that, you know? But they were, both of them, just precious.
When I met you, you were sitting right outside her door.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw you and I fell in love.
Oh, well, thank you for saying that.
Yeah, you were you were a very sweet student. Even though we probably should have gotten in a lot of trouble, but we didn't.
Yeah, we didn't. We got by with quite a bit.
And with Mildred, we couldn't sit in an assembly where we could see each other because we would get tickled.
Right.
And I couldn't sit close to her because we'd get tickled. So, she's special.
And if all three of us were sitting together, Lord help, it was over.
Oh, no.
It was over. It was over because she had this way that was our kind of way. You know, my column is strictly observing, and that's always been me. I'm a very keen observer, and I will comment. Whatever comes in the brain comes out the mouth the same way. And we all three kind of had that talent, exactly. And one of us would say what the other two were thinking. And it would be over.
Yeah.
It was August of 1996, and we met each other, and right away we bonded, with Miss Mads. That was probably the beginning. I have always loved Tina Turner. I have always loved her, but this was the beginning of my obsession with Tina Turner, and I'll tell you how that happened, because we had to do a report, and we had to do a poster and put it on the wall about our a famous movie or television show. And at that time, as I still am, I was into Lucy and Lucille Ball, and I did mine on Lucy, and I saw that somebody else had done something on the movie What's Love Got to Do with It? And I said, oh, look. And I was pointing to you. I said, oh, look, I love that, too. I love Tina Turner, too. And you said, yeah, I've got a good CD of hers. And you let me borrow your Private Dancer CD. And I took that home and made a tape out of it. And that was right about the time that Oprah had got into her obsession with Tina Turner. And Tina was on her show, and she had that stupid wig made, thinking somebody was going to tell her she looked like Tina Turner, and somebody would have sooner told me I looked like Tina Turner than they would her, I think. But anyway, she was on the show, and that Wildest Dreams album was out, which it didn't do anything here, but of course the tour broke records everywhere. And you heard on the radio that she was coming to Charlotte, and of course I said, we have to go, and my mom was like, I don't really want to go. I mean, you know, and then you said, well, I would like to go. I'd be glad to take him down to Charlotte. And so then Mama said, great, I'll pay for the tickets. Y'all go ahead. And I'm so glad we did.
Yeah, I'm glad they trusted me enough to take you down there.
Oh my goodness, it's still, you know, my dad says to this day, you know, there aren't many people in the world that would have done for you what Janet did, and you know, always wanted to make sure that I was grateful, but I've never not been. That's one of the kindest things anybody's ever done for me, and I won't forget it. I will never forget it, and I'll always.
Oh, me either. But it was very special. I was glad to do it, and of course I liked her too. You know.
Oh yeah. Now you were a Tina fan before, right? How long have you been a Tina fan?
Oh my gosh! I guess since 70, maybe a little bit before.
Right.
I was a freshman in high school in the 70s.
Right.
In the 70s.
Right.
So it had to have been around that time.
And 71 was, you know, the year of Proud Mary, and I mean, she just took that Creedence song and made it hers.
I remember seeing her with her husband.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't like him, and I couldn't imagine. You know, I was little.
Right.
I didn't like him. I couldn't imagine what in the world was she doing with him. She was so much more talented, I think.
Right.
And yeah, I was really glad she got away from him.
And what people didn't realize is that she was trapped.
She was what?
That she was trapped. She couldn't get out.
Yeah. That happens with a lot of people, but look what it turned into.
Right. Yeah. I mean, she weathered all of that, and then she comes back in her 40s, where most people in Hollywood and entertainment business, you put out to pasture by the time you're 40, and she has her first #1 record at 45 years old, and nobody's ever done that before, you know, or since, you know.
Well, and she did it in her own unique style.
Yeah, yeah. She was one of the first, I would say, if not the first, because she was rocking way before the Beatles and the Stones. but she was definitely the first black woman, and maybe one of the first women, period, to really truly do rock and roll. And she wanted to sell out stadiums, and she became the first female artist, first black artist to sell out stadiums. She broke the record of the Rolling Stones, I think, with one of her big concerts that was like 180-some thousand people. You know, there was 20,000 at this concert that we were there. And I've talked to a couple other people from this area that said, you know, I was there that night and at the same concert you were at, and that was unbelievable, wasn't it? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it certainly was. I mean,
that's a lot of people. When you look back on that bank, you know, at the pavilion,
yeah,
it's full of people.
Yeah.
I mean, just you know, and everybody we were behaved well, and
yeah. I mean, we weren't there to make any trouble. We were there for her, and they were all there
That's
for
right.
her. They were. I mean, the people that were way further back than we were, they were having as good a time as the people in the front row. I mean,
yeah. I've been to Charlotte several times, and I used to go, and I always had a good time.
Right.